In a world where daily routines take place inside boxes, human dwellings challenge our understanding of what is possible. These spaces, made for the essentials, sleeping, eating, even the most intimate moments, take on a new dimension when located in the most surprising places on Earth. Here are the 10 most bizarre places where people actually live. Number 10. Chong Kneas, Floating Village. Before we start, please like, subscribe to the channel, and tell us where you are watching from. Located in Cambodia's Siem Reap region, Tonle Sap Lake is the largest freshwater lake in Southeast Asia. This vast body of water is not only home to an abundance of fish, but also to a significant human population. And no, they don't just live around the edges of the lake as you might expect. In fact, this may sound a little crazy, but over 1 million people live directly on the water, in houseboats and floating homes. The main reason for this is the lake's incredible abundance of fish, with over 200 species thriving in its waters. It is one of the most productive fishing areas in the world. The floating communities on the lake are divided into distinct villages, one of the most well-known being Chong Kneas. This particular village is home to around 1,000 families who live and work on the water. Unfortunately, the residents of these floating villages face significant challenges. They are frequently exploited by the tourism industry, which sends boat tours full of visitors who simply observe their way of life without contributing anything meaningful to the community. These tours often fail to consider the ethical implications of treating people's daily lives as a spectacle for outsiders. Despite these challenges, the fact remains, many people really do live their entire lives on this lake. Number 9. Coober Pedy. The Australian outback is home to all sorts of strange and dangerous things. Creatures that can kill you, vast stretches of scorched earth, and regions so remote that they haven't been explored for centuries. But in the middle of this harsh desert, there's a mining town where people have taken an unusual approach to survival. They live underground. Coober Pedy is an opal mining town in the South Australian desert, about an 8-hour drive from both Adelaide in the south and Alice Springs in the north. This town is completely off the grid and mostly hidden beneath the surface. Many of its residents live in dugouts, cave-like homes carved into the rock to shield them from the desert's extreme temperatures. The Australian outback offers little in terms of a middle ground. It's either scorching hot or bitterly cold, but these underground dwellings provide a surprisingly comfortable environment. Despite the harsh conditions above, Coober Pedy is a lively and resourceful community. The people who live here have adapted to an entirely different way of life, proving that even in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth, human ingenuity prevails. Number 8. Setenil de las Bodegas. Located in the Andalusian region of southern Spain, Setenil de las Bodegas is a striking and unique village, known as a Pueblo Blanco, or White Village. Its buildings are uniformly painted white, a common feature among many towns in this area. However, what sets Setenil apart is the fact that many of its homes are built directly into the cliffs. These cave-like houses are naturally shaded by the overhanging rock, providing relief from the intense Spanish sun. The rock helps regulate indoor temperatures, keeping homes cooler in summer and warmer in winter. Although people still live in these cliffside dwellings, the village has become a popular tourist destination, making it difficult to experience what life here was like in the past. Despite that, Setenil de las Bodegas remains an incredibly beautiful and fascinating place to visit. Number 7. Freedom Cove. This unique place can be found floating off the coast of Tofino, in British Columbia. It's a forested patch of eco-land equipped with greenhouses, small buildings, and all the whimsical off-grid contraptions you could ever imagine. This is Freedom Cove, a homestead project created by artists Catherine King and Wayne Adams. They began building and developing the place way back in 1992, and it includes all the essentials, like an art gallery, a dance floor, and a lighthouse. Along with that, There are greenhouses, solar panels, and a generator. It's a teal and fuchsia floating paradise, or at least it appears that way. But living off-grid, with a 45-minute boat trip to the nearest town, is not for the faint-hearted. This lifestyle requires an incredible amount of work just to keep things running. However, the couple firmly believes that deep satisfaction and peace can be found in living this way. Number 6. Cliff Village. This small village, called something I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, is located in China. It's known as the village on a cliff, and it's easy to see why. The village itself is perched way up on a 2,600-foot high cliff. And in recent years, thanks to the wonders of the internet, it has become a hugely popular tourist attraction. Back in the day, the village was inhabited by people who were extremely poor and lived on the very edge of survival. Literally, their daily lives were so precarious that they risked their lives every time they scaled the cliffside to return home. Originally, the village was only accessible by a series of flimsy rattan ladders, and to be honest, even though improvements have been made, it still looks just a tiny bit dangerous to me. In 2016, the local government invested a huge amount of money into the village, and the old rickety ladders were replaced with a brand new steel one. This upgraded ladder consists of 2,556 steps, stretching almost 2 miles long. The cost? Nearly $150,000, but the goal was to make life safer for the villagers who had to climb up and down daily. Now the place has become a hotspot for daredevils and influencers making videos for social media. Safety is more crucial than ever, especially with people waving their selfie sticks all over the place. But just imagine living there, getting all the way to the bottom, only to realize you left your wallet at home. Number 5. Santuario Madonna della Corona. This extraordinary place sits over 2,000 feet above sea level, built directly into the vertical face of a cliff. Now that's one way to keep intruders out. The Sanctuary of the Madonna della Corona, as it's known in Italy, is positioned on such a sheer drop that it almost appears to be floating in mid-air. But in reality, it's built on a narrow rock ledge on the side of Mount Baldo. There are only 2 ways to reach it: a narrow path from below or a steep road from above. Originally, this secluded sanctuary was used as a retreat for monks and holy men, a place where they could reflect in absolute solitude, completely removed from the rest of the world. Then, in 1530, the church itself was built, and over time, it became a pilgrimage site for anyone seeking spiritual reflection and peace. Through all the turmoil of the 20th century, the sanctuary remained standing, continuing to serve as a sacred retreat for visitors and pilgrims alike. Number 4. Al-Hajjarah, Yemen. This small town in Yemen looks like nowhere else on earth. It's stunning, however ancient, and plays a significant role in the country's history. Built in the 12th century, Al-Hajjarah served as an important fortification during Yemen's Ottoman occupation. The massive, multi-story stone homes were constructed directly into the mountainside, packed tightly together, and built without windows in their lower sections. Why? For defense. Every element of Al-Hajjarah's architecture was carefully designed to protect its inhabitants from invaders. And the fact that this town is still standing strong today is a testament to the brilliant engineering and ancient fortification techniques used centuries ago. The entire village was built using stone carved straight from the mountain itself, and to this day, the structures remain just as resilient as the day they were first built. Number 3. Casa do Penedo. This one is definitely one of the strangest and lumpiest homes I've ever laid eyes on. The Casa do Penedo, located in northern Portugal, was built between 4 colossal boulders in the region. Although the house itself was only constructed in 1972, the entire structure has a prehistoric feel due to the massive rocks and the organic, asymmetrical shapes of the design. Inside, it's pretty basic, but not exactly uncomfortable. However, there's no electricity at all in the place. The trouble with being such a bizarre and fascinating building is that tourists constantly show up to take a look, completely ruining any sense of peace and isolation the owners might have hoped for. They were so frequently disturbed by curious visitors that, in the end, they were forced to move out. Nowadays, the house has become an official tourist attraction and even houses a small museum filled with historic photos and artifacts showcasing the landscape's transformation over the centuries. Unfortunately, like many isolated and peculiar locations, Casa do Penedo has fallen victim to vandalism over the years. To protect it, security railings and even bulletproof glass have been installed, so any future destruction attempts can hopefully be avoided. Number 2. Villa Girasole, Italy. In the 1930s, an unusual house was built in northern Italy, near Verona. That's definitely one of a kind. The house, called Villa Girasole, is based on the movement of a sunflower, or girasole in Italian, as it follows the sun throughout the day. The architect believed that this design would maximize the health benefits of sunlight, providing the homeowners with the ability to live in a home that rotates to follow the sun, just like a sunflower. It's a great idea, but unfortunately, the design looks more like a power station than a flower. Still, functionality over beauty, right? Number 1. Matmata, Tunisia. The troglodyte homes of Matmata in southern Tunisia look like something from another world, and in many ways, they are unlike anything else on Earth. These incredible underground homes are a living link to Tunisia's ancient past and remain one of the country's most fascinating tourist attractions. Carved directly into the earth, these homes form a network of tunnels and chambers that have been around for centuries. Matmata sits on the edge of the Sahara Desert, surrounded by olive trees and palm groves. About 20 miles south of the Tunisian capital, these homes are still inhabited today by many Berbers, the indigenous people of North Africa. They represent a living, breathing piece of culture and history, preserved for generations. Because Tunisia has very few natural resources like wood or stone for construction, the locals developed a brilliant solution: digging homes directly into the ground. This method allows for natural temperature regulation, keeping the interiors cool in the scorching desert heat. Each home follows a specific architectural pattern. At the center, there's a sunken courtyard, often with a well. Surrounding this courtyard, there are small chambers connected by tunnels. The entrance is typically via a ladder or a narrow tunnel. Now, let me ask you this. Would you ever live in an underground home like this? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. And there you have it, a whole bunch of bizarre and unique places that people actually live in. Which one of these unusual spots would you want to call home? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check out the other cool stuff on the screen, and I'll see you next time.